It's that time again. It's the podcast that takes your personal and professional life to a whole new level. Whether you're selling a product, selling a service, or selling yourself, one thing is for sure. You're always selling for life.
All right, welcome to another installment of the Selling for Life podcast, sponsored by Conoco Parts, a world of parts with a personal touch. This podcast is about more than just selling stuff. We think if you stick around, you'll get a lot out of it, and this is episode 38. And I am not sure if you can hear all that noise in the background. I'll get to that in a second. I'm Steve, and I'm joined by Conoco owner, church planter, and Walmart shopper, Al Alexander. Hello, Al.
Hello, Steve. How you doing, buddy?
You sound good. It's so
Great.
funny that intro's playing, and I hear a lot of things in the background. Boop, boop, bleep, boop, boop.
Yeah, I'm at Walmart shopping for our trip to Fort Myers Beach, Florida. We're going on an RV trip.
That's awesome. The show has to go on, and I didn't want to do it alone this week. So even though I could have said, hey, I'll take the week off, I wanted you on for a short discussion about today's topic. Real quick, though, you're going to Florida. What's going on? The whole family's going?
Yeah, the whole family's going to Florida, Fort Myers Beach. We're stopping in North Carolina halfway, but our main goal is to get to Florida or bust.
Okay, gotcha, because we know what happened last time you went to Florida.
Yes.
Little hurricane got in the way for
That's
a
right.
bit.
It was exciting. There was trees down everywhere. Man, the last time we drove there, all the gas stations were out. It was amazing.
And somehow, some way, you still got a vacation off the ground. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Truly, truly amazing. Real quick question on the way down there. What do people do? The kids, I guess, watch some video games, watch movies. Does anybody read in the car?
Oh, yeah, we got video games. There's 5 TVs in the car, or in the RV. So, you can hook up your game system. But a lot of times they'll play cards at the kitchen table and
Right.
chill and play a game like Monopoly or something like that.
Sure. Let me ask you, when you're on a trip, what do you like to do?
I like to, it depends on the trip. I do love sightseeing.
Okay. Now I'm talking about
Planning
like
out
when you're
different
actually
events.
traveling, not where you're going or what you're going to do. But when you're in a car or a plane, what do you do to pass your time?
Oh, I like to listen to music and read.
Okay.
And if I'm not driving,
Okay. What do you
And
like
then,
to... Go ahead. Sorry.
I would say, binge watch shows if I actually don't have to drive. Or if I have to drive sometimes.
Okay.
I'll binge watch while driving.
Do you listen to anything while you're driving?
Yeah, music, man. Usually oldies, 80s
Music? Okay.
rock and roll, and sing along.
What do you like to read?
While I'm on a trip,
Sure.
I usually read like business books, inspirational books, some self-help stuff, things like that.
And that brings us to the topic of the day, and the topic of the day is... sales materials to help your career.
How did you know I was going to answer? I read business books.
I was trying to lead you into that so I could do that topic of the day stinger.
You are amazing.
Self-help books, seminars, message boards, even palm readers. There are so many ways to help you get an edge on life. I don't know about the palm reader part, but when it comes to sales, there are countless places to turn to help improve your selling career. And Al, this is a topic I think right up your alley. You have spent years going through many of the different types of resources to help you in either sales or starting a business and probably many other things, marriage, whatnot. So we're going to talk about that today, and I'm going to ask you a few questions, and then I'm going to let you get on your vacation there.
Sounds good, buddy.
Okay, tell me this. How do you pick the right, when it comes to sales, okay, and trying to improve your sales career, how do you know what to pick? What book or what podcast? How do you know where to turn to?
Well, what I usually do is I'll listen to podcasts about books.
Mm-hmm.
They sum them up. And then off of those, I'll get kind of a small snippet and a review from somebody I trust. So there's a review podcast called Best Business Podcast.
Okay.
And they review a lot of books and writers, and they kind of like sum things up. Or there's a bunch of other ones.
Right.
So that's usually how I find my suggestions.
Okay, so you kind of dip your toe in the water and see how it sounds. See if you kind of trust the people that you're listening to. You'll get some advice. You'll get some people that have already read the book. Obviously, that's a great way to do anything, is to get reviews from people and then pick up from it there. What type of things do you try to avoid? What types of things turn you off when it comes to sales, books, marketing, podcasts, all that stuff?
I really get turned off by people who are just academic
Okay.
and haven't actually done it.
Right.
I guess the concept of like, oh, well, this should work. I really like somebody who's actually proven their method in battle.
Okay.
And, I really gravitate to entrepreneurs who write books, and, people who've experienced, CEOs, things like that, that have experienced this stuff themselves,
Okay. When it comes to getting instruction, when it comes to, it sounds like you're loading your car up there.
I am. How'd you know?
This is great. This is like real live action. You're out in the field and you're reporting from the scene. I'm at Walmart, Steve, in Lockport, New York. And, awesome. So what are some of the red flags that you would maybe say makes that people should probably look out for when it comes to choosing the person or people or websites or podcasts that they're going to get information from?
You said what are the things they should watch out for?
Yeah, red flags. What are some of the things you're like, I don't know if I'm going to trust this particular source about learning how to sell?
I would have to say when you're reading something and, their concepts of, let's say it's selling.
Right.
Their concepts of selling don't have some basic things of integrity, some basic things of character, where there's just a lot of manipulation rather than, focusing on, doing well for somebody.
Okay.
That kind of sets me off as a red flag, really.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I like step systems where there's some memory involved, maybe some acronyms to help me remind stuff. So a well thought out, like 3-5 step system that has kind of a flow. Because I think a lot of things in life, especially when it comes to sales or business, common sense plays into it. So if common sense isn't in it, then it probably isn't going to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love when people tell stories or have a great example, kind of like almost a parable of sorts, when they're trying to teach me something in a book. So I really enjoy that.
And I would say that along those lines, that when you come across somebody that's promising a quick fix or tripling your income overnight, or any of those gimmicky sort of things, you should probably look out for them too.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about, like with integrity and common sense. There's no way that you're going to get rich quick. You ever see those commercials back in the 80s and 90s of that Asian dude?
Yes, I was just thinking of him.
He's got women, and he's got pools,
he's on a yacht,
and he's got cool house, and he's like, you could be just like me, and that kind of thing. Pyramid schemes and things like that. I mean, obviously, there's really no way to get rich quick that, in a sense, isn't a fluke. And I definitely think you can be successful right away. Hit the ground running with the right support and preparation and good ideas and those type of things. But I don't think there's any real way to get rich quick.
Okay, so too good to be true. If it sounds like it's too good to be true, it probably is. Finally, Al, how have you in your life implemented those things that you've learned and read about, et cetera?
All the things I've learned?
Yeah, how do you implement them in your life?
Well, even from my first self-help or business or sales book came when I was probably 19 or 20. It was from Zig Ziglar, and that basically was called Selling 101. And then from that, I understood, like, there's people who have done certain things in their life, have experienced it, I love testing things naturally from a young kid. I always wanted to be in science or in medical field because I wanted to do that. But now I actually do that in sales and business. I get to test and use scientific methods. And a lot of the things I get out of these books, they're not going to help everyone and they're not going to work all the time. But I got the theory that if I test these ideas and always record my results to see my ROI, then no matter what idea I come across, I can either decide if it's valuable or not because I'm always paying attention to the results.
Right.
And that really, I think, is where the rubber hits the road. That's what I've learned in life from a lot of this reading is, the key is to know where you've been, to know where you are, and to know where you're going, right? Like I ask you or you ask me, hey, how do I get to Florida? All right, cool. Where are you coming from? You got to know that. You got to know where you're starting. So all that stuff I've learned from business books or self-help books and things like that makes sense to you. It's common sense, really.
Yeah. Okay, real quick, name a few either books, podcasts, or websites or, the such that you would recommend.
Yeah, I really enjoy actually the Harvard Business Review when it comes to business. They got a lot of awesome ideas. Even the host is engaging and, has some good energy, great questions, gets to the stories. I do enjoy that for a podcast. Like I was telling you, I listen to the Best Business podcast, which does a lot of different ideas, especially with marketing and business growth, reviewing a lot of things. I love the Startup podcast. And, of course, Zig Ziglar. I was mentioning he's one of my favorite entrepreneurs and favorite sales business development gurus. He's since passed on, but they've continued his work, his son and whatnot. There's some greats out there that hold the test of time, I think, in a sense.
Right.
And last one, Dave Ramsey.
Okay.
He has a business focus called Entree Leadership. And if you don't know Dave Ramsey, he started off doing budgeting and help for debt relief on, just your family budget. But he's done a business end called Entree Leadership. And Ben and I and Ryan all have gone through this course. And our business model and plan has been really affected positively by his teachings. We don't do debt. We avoid it like a plague. We don't leverage that type of thing. People think, well, you got to do that to do well in business. And as you know, Steve, at Conequip, we've grown 50 to 70% a year over year for 10 years. Mm-hmm. And that's without carrying debt load, So that's kind of a cool thing. And a lot of the formulas of hiring people I've learned from Entree Leadership as well.
Gotcha. Okay, Al, well, it's coming down to the end here. So what I want you to do now is give us your thought as you head off to the Sunshine State.
Well, whether it be from a self-help book, a podcast, or out of the mouth of babes, there is wisdom all around us. You know why? God created it. He created laws of our universe, our world, our even relationships, and our psyche. And common sense can unlock all of it. So you can make the most out of what you're doing.
Common sense goes a long way in life. Hey, good job, Al.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
Have a great trip. Send me some pictures.
All right. I will definitely send you a picture of my white butt and my tan body.
I'm out of here. Well, Al, thanks so much for joining us. That's it for our 38th Selling for Life podcast. Check out our website at sellingforlife.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And remember, whether you're selling self-help books or you're trying to convince the person who's reading your palm, they really don't know what they're doing. They have no idea. But you took my $20, so thanks a lot. One thing is for sure, you're always selling for life.